We can all agree on one thing. The big three of Cartoon Network, at least during the 2010s, were Regular Show, Adventure Time, and of course, what I believe to be the most cartoonish of the three, The Amazing World of Gumball. At the time, this show was just okay. Season 1 had its own distinct style with some funny jokes, but it was in Season 2 that the show really found its footing. The show became a bit more ridiculous in the best way imaginable. This season brought us some of the best episodes in the entire series. Characters started breaking the fourth wall and making the most absurd meta jokes possible. However, in Season 3, we got the episode The Void, an episode that completely changed the show. This is what kicked off its overarching narrative, if you could even call it that. For a while after that, this show was doing its thing until the finale of Season 6 aired, The Inquisition. The twist was, it wasn't really a season finale, but more like a series finale, where the Void introduced in that Season 3 episode seemingly enveloped the world of Elmore, ending the show on a major cliffhanger. Then complete silence. For 6 years. Attack on Titan fans can't even compare. This was a major pain. For years, the show appeared to be in limbo, with many believing it might never return. But in 2025, it was finally revealed that the world of Elmore was coming back, this time under a completely new name. Let's get into Season 7 and Season 8 of this goated Cartoon Network show, The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. Now, with the show giving us a new intro that more or less had the exact same energy as the first, there was still a little part of me that was wondering, how is this show gonna change? Sure, the voice actors would change, they've been doing this every few seasons, but I mean, it's been 6 years. Surely it's not just gonna be the exact same, well, what do you know? In a world where the movies, cartoons, shows, and games we all love get remakes that most of the time completely change what came before, sometimes outright butchering them, to see Gumball back in all of its wacky, stupid, and over-the-top glory was a real pleasure. But despite this, I have a confession. See, I put on the first few episodes, really excited to be watching the show again, when for some odd reason, I wasn't that ecstatic after watching the first 2 episodes. Episode 1 was solid, critiquing how the wealthy can effectively convince us to accept food that tastes amazing, but is objectively terrible for our bodies, and pretty much critiquing capitalism as a whole. Episode 2 critiques AI. This was expected, but I'm happy to say the episode was gloriously stupid, or dare I say, wonderfully weird. Episode 3 wasn't wonderfully weird so much as it was fucking creepy. The entire premise follows Gumball and Darwin being forced to sleep in different rooms because they've become a bit too codependent. Now sure, the OG show has explored how much these two love each other and made jokes about it, but this episode pushed it so far that it came off as way too coupley, and it got really uncomfortable.
Tell me what you would do if we weren't playing a game.
Maybe I would press B a couple of times.
Yeah, and then I'll press left, right.
Then I would do up, down, right trigger.
Left trigger.
Right trigger.
Left up
trigger.
Forward,
Down,
up.
I don't know, it looks kind of suspect.
Makes the episode worse when some fans try to make it okay by saying he's a pet fish. Episode 4 was a banging episode, with Richard trying to remember the thing Nicole said to him previously. Because Richard loves food, in this episode, every time he tastes something, he can instantly recall a past memory. I loved that despite his leaving the kids and Granny Jojo trapped at a bus station, Nicole is ecstatic and kisses him, only for him to flash back to what the thing was, to get the two of them alone for a romantic dinner. An amazingly creative way to end the episode, and I love seeing them actually be loving toward each other. But then I watched episode 5, and after that, I couldn't bring myself to watch the rest of the season. Now, I know that sounds so ominous, like this episode must have done something so heinous, and I mean, it really didn't, but it wasn't exactly that fun to watch. Let me explain. Principal Brown in this episode is insecure about his butt, so Gumball tries to help him get some body confidence. Simple and stupid premise, classic Gumball. So what's the problem? The last few minutes of the episode brought us this.
What the hell is this?
To be fair, this part is slightly saved by Tobias doing the Deshaun Raw / Super Hot Fire meme, but then it's immediately followed up by... Admittedly, maybe I just wasn't in the mood to watch Gumball when I first watched it, but I just think the whole twerking thing is a bit wild, given that this would be the exact thing Gumball would make fun of. Listen, I think butt jokes are hilarious when done well. I mean, one of the best episodes in the original show was Gumball trying his hardest to get Tobias to smack his ass because he felt left out.
Come on, good game, flap ass, man.
That had that Gumball charm, but this episode felt like it was ripped straight out of Teen Titans Go. I can't be the only one who felt this way. Now again, it was mostly the latter half of the episode that fell apart for me. Up until that point, it was a completely regular Gumball episode. So, as I said before, I turned off the TV and didn't finish the season until a few days after season 2 came out. Surely it wasn't just because of that episode, right? It wasn't, but I'll get back to why later. For now, let's look at the standout episodes of season 1. The Astrological made me realize, holy shit, this show might just have the best animation out of the big 3 Cartoon Network shows. I mean, look at this shit. It's glorious. It's not even just these big spectacle moments. I mean, look at what Darwin does in a previous episode.
Damn it, this food is bad for you.
The amount of detail and love that's put into these backgrounds and animations really puts into perspective why this show took so long to come back. But as well as the animation, it was probably just studio interference as to why this took so long. This episode also made me realize how much I like seeing Gumball and Penny actually be a couple. While the original series touched on this in a few episodes, this series makes their relationship feel like it's genuinely developing. I really like the episode The Boring, despite it being really similar to the episode The Stories. Both episodes center around Molly and how everyone finds what she has to say extremely boring. In this new series though, based on a throwaway line in The Stories,
Feels like we've been walking down this corridor for half an hour now. It's like a superpower. She can distort time and space using only boredom.
Nah, I just buffed the floor.
Gumball and Darwin use the boredom they get from Molly to distort time, just so they can get out of a beatdown from Tina. I also like that the two dinosaurs interact and are shown to have mutual respect for one another. I don't think they ever interacted in the OG show. Let me know down in the comments if they have though. Also, leave a like if you're enjoying the video so far, and subscribe while you're down there. I make video essays on cartoons, shows, and games, and I love doing character analysis videos. Stick around if that sounds interesting to you. The app is a social commentary on how TikTok and other short form content are basically ruining our brains, making us mindless zombies. This was something I was hoping and expecting this show to make fun of.
Yeah, horrible new social media app appears, everyone goes crazy for 5 minutes, leaving the app defunct and the goal wide open for the next brain-deadening distraction.
Good old nature, taking its course.
Guys, we're so f***ed. The ending though honestly reminded me a lot of that Rick and Morty episode, where an alien race makes a dating app, causing everyone to go batshit insane. What's funny is how both shows resolve it. In Gumball, the problem basically fixes itself once parents start using the apps and instantly destroy the appeal. While in Rick and Morty, the alien just slaps an ad wall on it, making everyone delete the app. The way the endings are framed are extremely similar. The entrance was just completely unhinged. I get that the whole point is Gumball and Darwin basically getting high and hallucinating the dumbest, wildest stuff imaginable, but it was honestly just a bit much for me. Probably just because I can't really relate to it. Still, I can't deny the animation was really good. And I've seen a lot of people online say the episode actually does a great job showing how messy and complicated things can get when on drugs. So fair play for that. I also like that Tobias actually got some real characterization here. He has a moment of self-reflection on why he doesn't have friends. Yet the show loves to allude to the fact that he might be the next Diddy.
How about we send gift boxes to other kids to lure them to Tobias's mansion?
It's a great idea!
Huh? Oh, what is happening to me?
The Pool was another Mr. Robinson episode that actually showed off some of his lore, but other than that, it just followed the exact same formula as previous Mr. Robinson episodes. I loved the portrait. This time, instead of Gumball trying to get a good photo for school, the Wattersons try to get a new family photo to replace that outdated one seen in the house. It was nice to see the extended Watterson family show up. Extremely relatable to see so many different parts of a family interact, and seeing them losing their shit on each other was so amazing. In the end, they eventually get their portrait, even if you can see the entire police force rushing them. But guess what?
Actually, no, that's weird. We'll stick with the old one.
Yeah, I saw that ending coming from a mile away. Again, I'll follow up on this later. The finale of season 1, titled The Amadean, develops Penny and Gumball's relationship even more. The whole episode revolves around Gumball going to Penny's grandma's birthday party, where he's forced to take part in a bunch of bizarre traditions. Based on the outfits everyone's wearing and some of the unsettling imagery, it's pretty clear that this episode is parodying the movie Midsommar. I really like that Penny lets Gumball take the heat after he doesn't back her up. The ending is super wholesome too, with the reveal that Penny's family was testing him the entire time, and that they only wear their shells to protect the people they love, not to defend themselves from them. It's a really poignant idea if you ignore the episode The Transformation, where her parents treat her removing her shell like something shameful. Probably a minor plot hole if at all. Overall, season 1 was a pretty solid return to the world of Elmore, with great animation, good jokes, and honestly some great themes. That said, as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't bring myself to keep watching right away. I didn't finish the rest of it until a few days after season 2 dropped. Part of that was because the butts really turned me off, but honestly, I also just wasn't finding it as appealing as I used to. And that's on me. I went into it with some absolutely insane expectations. I completely ignored my own advice from my previous Gumball video, that this is a classic turn your brain off cartoon. Once I actually did that, the season became way more enjoyable. As expected, they don't address the season 6 ending at all, but it was later revealed that season 2 would address it. I'd give season 1 somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8. If you were a fan of the original show, you'll definitely have a good time with it. As for the issues I still have, I'll get into those specifically after I talk about season 2. The unfollow is Gumball's take on generative AI. Basically, Sarah, the ice cream cone who's obsessed with Gumball and Darwin, suddenly unfollows them and loses all interest. Why? Well, it's because she has a new boyfriend. Naturally, Gumball and Darwin completely lose it and spend the entire episode trying to get her to be obsessed with them again. Like they're the ones who have Stockholm Syndrome. Of course, this turns out to be a part of Sarah's plan the whole time, because her boyfriend is actually AI generated. You know what's annoying? When she first reveals him, I actually paused to see if anything was sus. But nope, normal amount of fingers, normal looking face, nothing AI here. But toward the end, oh, would you look at that, it's AI. I guess that's kind of the point though. We scroll past images and videos online all the time without questioning whether they're AI generated, until something finally looks a little too off and makes us stop and actually look. The synthesis was when Gumball went from slightly referencing Dragon Ball to basically making a full Dragon Ball episode. This dragon is definitely supposed to be Shenron. This guy looks like Master Roshi. Nicole and Yuki join forces, quite literally performing the fusion dance and becoming Nikoshida! We will prove our worth! Anais and Masami end up fusing too, pretty much becoming Majin Buu. They even parody the fact that characters scream for ages while powering up. Also, why the hell is Miss Simian oral farming as the main fight happens? Like she's supposed to be f***ing Piccolo. So stupid. Since I'm a major Dragon Ball fanboy, I obviously love this episode. And it does end up having a meaningful moral at the end. To not let your past childhood trauma and insecurities get in the way of your current relationships. The score is probably the most heartfelt and touching episode of the 2 seasons. See, Ocho here is notorious for having anger problems. So the entire episode is Gumball and Darwin trying to help him manage it. They fail time and time again.
Music is another great way to...
This is genuinely boring!
I will never not laugh when a character stares out the window out of pure depression. It kills me every time.
The city.
We end up learning more about his backstory, and it turns out that his life outside of school is insanely stressful. Something shown through the 3 of them playing an obviously rigged game that is Ocho's life. They keep losing, only to realize it's stuck on hard mode, with Ocho revealing that the game, or his life, just came that way. Instead of giving up though, they decide to just roll with it and try to have some fun. An important message for anyone. When life is kicking your ass, changing how you approach it can help more than you'd think. You can either scream into oblivion, or try to let it go and have some fun. This is the episode that unironically has the message, maybe the real score was the friends we made along the way. I give this one a pass though, because it actually made me reflect on how I'm living my life day to day. Of course though, the episode doesn't end on this nice note, and has to end with some comic relief. The Punishment was a great episode that developed Nicole and Gumball's relationship. It was really wholesome seeing them air out their grievances with one another, and I love that they screw over that annoying orange egg lady, the most annoying ass character, along with Jamie. It's only when I got to the roast that I fully noticed what was going on with the show. The episode centers on Gumball trying to stop himself from constantly smack talking everyone. It reminded me a lot of the season 2 episode The Words, where Darwin had the exact opposite issue. He could never say how he actually felt, and eventually ended up turning into Gumball and shitting on everyone instead.
Oh, for goodness sake! This is another thing that bugs me. He's always pulling that stupid pose. It's so annoying.
It's not really that annoying. It's just photos, buddy.
It's not though, is it? It's all the time.
Even though the 2 episodes have very different climaxes, it did make me realize that the show is starting to recycle a lot of its old ideas. Thankfully, it doesn't happen all the time, but often enough that I noticed. It's also extremely similar to the episode The Test, where after Gumball is labeled a loser in some online test, he starts doing the exact opposite of everything that he usually does. Do you guys see what I mean? The Labels is the episode where we got this.
Nuke the whole generation. If it were up to me, I would drop an atomic bomb on the whole generation.
A new guidance counselor starts labeling everyone, which leads them to start believing their own labels. I have no idea what this jobber of a character, the one that we see is usually working at the mall, became this unhinged guidance counselor. But with how egregious she was acting, she definitely deserved that at the end. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Jake the dog, for whatever reason, ends up making a cameo in this season. So canonically, during the events of Fiona and Cake, Jake's dead. Or is this guy just f***ing around in the Gumball universe? The Homework also did a great job developing Gumball and Anais' relationship. We even see a brief flashback that shows the reason why Gumball cares for her so much. Enough to come to school to drop off her homework, despite being sick as fork. In The Sonder, the show pulls a Doctor Strange on Gumball, and he and Darwin experience empathy. At first, I honestly thought the episode was going to be more like The Extras, where we get quick little backstory moments for a bunch of side characters. And for most of the episode, that's exactly what it was. Right up until the ending reveals that the whole thing was just Gumball and Darwin waffling to each other.
Yeah, and then he has the princess, and then he says like, I love you.
Yeah, and he chops down the tree so the princess...
Seeing them chat shit to each other was actually really funny, but I won't lie, I was still a bit disappointed that none of it was actually real. The tracking once again reminded me of an old season 2 episode, where Richard makes a bet with Tobias' dad over who can get in better shape in 24 hours, using a fitness watch to track it. Since Richard is a fat ass, the rest of the family ends up cheating by wearing the tracker for him. For me, this is peak Gumball, very reminiscent of episodes like The Game, where one central problem causes the entire family to spiral in their own separate ways. The Necroprancer fleshed out Darwin and Carrie's relationship even more. See, Carrie here always possesses Gumball's body on dates to be with Darwin, because, well, she's a ghost. Again, more of this borderline incest behavior the show loves to include with these two. The three travel to the underworld to get Carrie a new body, until she admits that she doesn't want one, and that she shouldn't have to change herself to be with Darwin. Darwin, being the GOAT, doesn't force her, and says they'll figure out another way. A really nice takeaway for the episode, but of course, the final scene shows that she's possessing parts of him. Whatever works for you guys, I guess. And now, finally, we arrive at the season 2 finale, The Rewrite. This is the long-awaited follow-up to season 6's ending, where Rob fell into the void. It's revealed here that the awesome store MF, known as the Shady Man, ended up saving Rob, and now he works for him. Also, I love that when we see Rob running through his lair of weirdness, we can see these arms poking out of his cage. This 100% is supposed to be Miss Simeon's season 1 design. An amazing callback. In this episode, the Shady Man ends up serving as the writer's self-insert. He basically starts writing the episode in real time. While this is going down, Gumball and Darwin start mentioning the various plot holes in their life, and how they get really uneasy thinking about them. How their house layout doesn't make any sense, how they've remained the same age for years, how their voices keep changing, and how their art style changed between seasons 1 and 2. They then mention Rob and how they haven't seen him in a while, so they decide to go back to school to get some answers, because that's the last place they saw him. The Shady Man realizes what the two are doing and tells Rob that he can rewrite things so that Gumball and Darwin never find that literal plot hole at school, because if they do, the main characters will realize everything is fiction, and
Elmore will collapse into the void.
I love that this is the first time the void is actually name dropped within the show. Oh, also, of course, this shot that they were using to promote this season was nothing but a brief nightmare scenario. For those who don't know, this exact shot was foreshadowed by Banana Barbara at the end of the episode The Oracle, which came out more than 10 years ago, and this premonition is yet to come to fruition within the show. So when they released this screenshot promoting this season, a lot of people believed that finally we would be paying this scene off. But no, we still have to wait for it. Maybe it'll be in the supposed Gumball movie that is in development hell right now. Anyway, the animation team once again goes all out, and the writers start taking some pretty meta shots at the studio for meddling with their ideas. I was honestly glad to see that, because one thing Gumball has always had is balls of steel. A lot of people don't realize that some of the choices made in these episodes come from studio interference, so seeing the show openly poke fun at that was really satisfying. So because studio execs get in the way, Gumball and Rob don't have an epic fight scene because it's too violent, and instead, Rob falls into the void because of some stupid slapstick shit. But then, finally, the episode ends in the most non-Gumball way. As Rob plummets into the void, the Shady Man shows up once more to save him.
But how?
I've added a post-credit scene.
He promotes Rob and gives him the role of being the awesome store shopkeeper. Honestly, I was blown away by this decision. Rob, one of the first characters to be cast into the void, and the first to be completely forgotten, was pushed into becoming a villain by Gumball and Darwin, and now he's pretty much become one of their more important allies, even if they may never know it's him. There will probably be an episode in the future where they eventually figure it out. Honestly, this entire arc really makes me want to do a character analysis for him. Let me know if you guys want that down below. The final few shots show Rob disappearing back into Elmore, while the Shady Man retires into paradise. I love that this shot was actually foreshadowed a few episodes prior, with Banana Barbara holding a painting of it. Let me know if you guys caught this on your first watch. Overall, I genuinely enjoyed Gumball's return, but like I've been hinting at throughout this video, I do have one major issue with it. The show is starting to feel very repetitive. Now, that isn't inherently a bad thing. It's actually kind of reassuring that the show hasn't lost its identity, but when so much stays the same, the jokes, the episode setups, the constant push to maintain the status quo, it makes me wonder how much the show is really evolving. Now, like I said, I have no idea what decisions are made by the writers or by the studio execs. And to be clear, I get it. It would go completely against everything the amazing world of Gumball has established if Gumball and Darwin suddenly started aging or dramatically changing. Regardless though, that tension between staying the same and actually growing is something the show is clearly struggling with. Why not use the void and Rob now as the awesome store shopkeeper to somehow make the show have the ability to change? Like Rob finds a way to repurpose the void. I bring this up because, as I said, I could see the punchline and jokes coming from a mile away. At this point, the show is at a crossroads. It can either follow the path of shows like Regular Show or Adventure Time, where it matures and grows alongside its audience, or it can lead more toward Family Guy or Teen Titans Go, where
Same joke every time.
and the characters don't meaningfully change or age. That's not to say the season lacked development. It was there, just in small doses. The problem is, that's always been the case with this show. That's why I appreciated Rob's character growth so much. He's one of the few characters who's actually been given a large overarching narrative, and it really stands out because of that. And honestly, it's the biggest reason why I couldn't bring myself to finish the first season right away after watching those first few episodes. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I know some people are going to take this as me hating on the show, which I'm not. Critiquing something isn't the same as hating it. I'm critical because I genuinely care about the show and want it to stay good. And honestly, like the show itself loves to point out, I don't want it to lose its charm. That's arguably worse than being cast into the void. That 6-year break, while way longer than it needed to be, actually ended up helping in hindsight. The animation has improved massively, but if I'm already starting to feel the repetitive jokes now, imagine how much worse it would have felt if there hadn't been a break and these episodes came out right after the Inquisition. It's a tricky solution, and one I would love to hear your thoughts on down below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. I plan to make more Gumball videos and video essays on other shows in the near future. Check out my other videos on the channel, join my Patreon if you want to support me further, follow all my socials down below, and I want to thank you for watching.